morning. Welcome to Catholic Chicago on WNDZ, 750 AM, 312-255-8408. You can also get us on youtube.com/Catholic Chicago. Father Greg Sakowitz, the rector of the cathedral, along with Mark Teresi, executive director of the cathedral. Good morning, Mark. How are you doing?
Good. 71 degrees, windows down on the outer drive to come in today. It's going to get warm again. We've had those warm days, but the morning is beautiful.
Even walking over here from the cathedral with you was gorgeous. And do you realize that 2 nights ago, I think it was Tuesday evening, the White Sox played Toronto, game time at 7:10 p.m., 93 degrees. When the game ended at 11 p.m. Tuesday evening, 90 degrees. Remember, that was the day Tuesday, which it was close to 100. 98 downtown, 100 near O'Hare.
Is that Tuesday, you said?
I think it was Tuesday.
Yeah, our daughter, who was at Misericordia, the group of them went to the White Sox game.
On Tuesday evening?
Yeah, but they were in a box, so it was air-conditioned, and she gave us a rundown of all the food she ate.
Did she watch the game at all?
Yeah, she did. She didn't know who won, but we told her.
Yeah, that game, the Sox won, I think, in 12 innings, 7-6. But again, we've had cases in the past where, with the start of summer, it starts getting warm around July 4th. But this summer, June has been incredibly warm and hot. And I think that Tuesday, which was June 21st, the first full day of summer, was 98 degrees. So but it's summer. It's summer in Chicago, and we're going to blink. Do you realize that a week from Monday is July 4th, the holiday? Already. 3.5 weeks ago was Memorial Day. We're less than 2 weeks from July 4th. We're going to blink. It'll be Labor Day. So enjoy each day as a profound gift from God.
Exactly.
And create wonderful memories. We have a great program lined up again, 312-255-8408. The new Unified Parish of St. Josephine, Bakhita. Our guests, Father Tom Bellinger, Andre Rawls Weatherby, and Sandra Botello. Good morning to everybody. How are you? Can you hear us?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. And great to be with all of you. And summer going well, though it's about 2 or 3 days old already. Going well. And well, first of all, Father Tom, you've been there for how many years?
I'll be here for approximately 16 years.
Wow.
Ever since ordination, I've never been assigned anywhere else.
That's amazing. So you were ordained back in 2006?
Correct.
And the thing is, now, Tom, help us out here. It's a unified parish of St. Josephine, Bakhita. What parish is unified?
The unified parishes were St. Bride's, Our Lady of Peace, and Our Lady Gate of Heaven along here at the former legacy parish of St. Philip Neri.
So again, mention those three names again that merged.
Sure. St. Bride's, Our Lady of Peace, and Our Lady Gate of Heaven.
And when you arrived 16 years ago, you were pastor of what parish of the three?
St. Philip Neri.
St. Philip Neri. Okay. And then maybe for a moment, either Andre or Sandra, give us maybe a little bit of history of St. Josephine Bakhita. I really don't know much about her. I'd rather do maybe sports for 500. So who wants to give it a quick shot?
I'll do that. St. Josephine Bakhita is an African saint originally from the Sudan. She was a slave woman who was historically very badly beaten. In her history, it says that as soon as she healed from one beating, she would be subjected to another. She became a member of an order of nuns. And at that point, she was seen as the lover of children, the healer. And even at her funeral, they had her hand out so that she could touch the children because she showed and displayed so much love of God and love of the people. So we're very proud to be under the guidance of St. Josephine Bakhita. And if I missed anything, I hope Father will correct me.
I think it was an excellent summary.
So, Father Tom, you were at Philip Neri, Gate of Heaven. Andre, which parish were you connected to before the merge, before the blending or whatever?
I was at St. Philip Neri. And one of the interesting things about being there is that that was my third merger. So I
Wow.
started in the church at Holy Cross that merged to St. Gelasius that made another merge. So the merger of this last configuration with St. Philip Neri going to St. Josephine Bakhita was my third merger.
That's amazing.
And what about Sandra? What parish were you connected with before the merger?
I actually moved to Chicago about 8 years ago from Idaho. So I used to be at Holy Rosary up there, but I've been at St. Philip since I moved here, so 8 years.
So you came from Idaho to Chicago. What brought you to Chicago from Idaho?
Oh my gosh, I love this city. Idaho's great, but I'm not much of a farmer or had no need to be in the potatoes forever. But in Idaho, I've just found so much more culture, and it's just so beautiful here. There's so much here in South Shore, especially in South Shore.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And maybe for a moment, Father Tom, is in terms of the whole Renew My Church and making disciples in Christ. And people always talk about it, well, my parish closed, our parish merged and all that, but really to be seen in a different light. So as the pastor in the whole unification of the parishes, what was the most challenging aspect for you in this whole process?
Number one would be the healing process. Many of the parishioners from the merged parishes, like any long-term parish member, was there for 40, 50 years. And for many of our seniors, which we are an aging population, it's difficult to start over again. So when we're looking at the systematic aspect of combining parishes and be welcoming, it's also welcoming the talents and the gifts that each parish community brings to the new entity at the new configured parish, such as here at St. Josephine Bakhita. So prior to the merger, St. Philip Neri really didn't have a social justice committee, which we finally implemented this year, and other outreach organizations. So again, collaborating, bringing in new ideas, new growth, and hopefully that will filter into the evangelization piece of allowing us to bring in new membership to our community. Our average age, unfortunately, right now is 75 to 80 years old. So we're merging aging populations into a new community is a challenge in itself.
Now, Andre, you're experienced at this parish merger activity. What do you see in this merger? What did you learn from the other experiences that you brought to this merger?
I think that the most important thing was to be welcoming, to be accepting of change, and to be flexible and not stuck on where you sat, who you sat with, or what was happening, but to be flexible and open to new ideas. The whole concept of the Social Justice Committee is something that I think we're very proud of that came out of the merger. We're working together with representatives from a number of the legacy parishes to do something very important that's greater for the community. So those kinds of things make us very happy that we're able to bring all the parishes together and have a new commission that is moving outside of the church and into the community in a very good way.
Beautiful, beautiful. Sandra, what did you learn from Father Tom and Andre in this process?
I've learned a lot, and we don't have enough time to go into all of that. But I think that for me, my experience has been a little bit different simply because ever since I was a little kid, we've always moved. So I've always had to start at new parishes, whether they're in Utah, Washington, Texas, Mexico, various parts of Mexico. I've always been able to go to a new church, meet the pastor, and then get myself involved in those. So from like I said, my experience is a little bit different. For me, this transition was very smooth. It's like, oh, more people, great. We're welcoming, we want them, and it's going to grow, and it's going to get better.
It's very interesting because people tend to be creatures of habit. I've said this on the air before. The only person who really welcomes change is a wet baby. And because we are creatures of habit and don't rock the boat, keep it the same. So now, Father Tom, as a pastor, priest now for 16 years, and the leader of this unification process within my church, what was the hardest thing for you personally as a priest to deal with the whole unification?
To regain trust, not from since I was already pastor at one of the merged parishes and then appointed as the new pastor or continuing on with the new entity. Really, I didn't know anyone from St. Bride's who had never affiliated with St. Bride's that often or said masses. So I didn't really know the people, and unfortunately didn't have the opportunity to meet them celebrating masses with pulpit switches, meaning that I would say mass and preach and introduce myself because of the pandemic. So ultimately, even at Our Lady of Peace and Gate of Heaven, Our Lady of Peace, I was familiar with because God rest his soul, Father Larry Duras, who was the pastor here at the time in which I came on as an associate back in 2006, was also pastor at Our Lady of Peace. So I had the opportunity to work collaboratively with that community and St. Philip Neri, and similar situation as St. Bride's with Our Lady Gate of Heaven. So when the merger did happen, it was a whole reintroduction of who I am, my charism, my vision and mission for the new parish here at St. Josephine, Bakhita. And with that, I had to be very attentive to their needs all over again, like I was starting fresh as newly ordained. So it has been a blessing because they've been very receptive of me, and it shows on the weekend with the mass attendance, which has increased. So I'm doing something. I don't know exactly what it is.
You're doing a lot of great things.
It's proving to be fruitful. So very blessed by that.
Great. We're going to take a little break. WNDZ, 750 AM, Catholic Chicago, 312-255-8408, or you can go to youtube.com/Catholic Chicago. We're speaking with Father Tom Ballinger, Andre Rawls Weatherby, and Sandra Boteo. And I'm trying to get my double L's in there, Boteo. And we'll be speaking some more about St. Josephine, Bakhita Parish, a unified parish. I'd like when we come back to talk a little bit about the social justice ministry that's begun there. It sounds fascinating, and it sounds like a new beginning for this new parish. So we'll be back in a few minutes. Please stay tuned.
Get ready for a fabulous day of golf for a great cause as Catholic Charities 2022 Golf Invitational tees off at the beautiful Olympia Fields Country Club on Monday, June 27th. Gather your friends, family members, and work colleagues for a day that is sure to be a highlight of your summer. Enjoyable contests and surprises are planned throughout the day to make this one extraordinary golf outing. Proceeds from this event will benefit Catholic Charities programs and services in Cook County. Fantastic sponsorships are still available for an invitational that is one of the most popular summer golf events in Chicago. Don't miss the 2022 Catholic Charities Golf Invitational on June 27th. For more information, go to CatholicCharities.net or call 847-226-5697. That's 847-226-5697.
This is year 44 for me teaching. When I started here, there were teachers here that had taught me when I was a student. Now I'm the old person. Right now, I teach junior high math. I love when kids find what I'm teaching to be fun and they get it. I see that light bulb go off, and it's a thrill. People are always amazed. What? You're here for 44 years? It's hard for me to believe, frankly. I love what I do. Every summer I think, oh, I miss the classroom. Even on the weekends, I think I can't wait to get back on Monday and teach those quadratic equations.
Shape the next generation of leaders. Teach. Apply today at archchicago.org/schooljobs.
Do you have an old bicycle that's not being used? Consider donating it to Catholic Charities Veterans Bike Project of Lake County. Skilled volunteers are refurbishing bicycles to make them safe and ready to be used by veterans to get to and from their new places of work. We also gratefully accept financial contributions that are used to purchase bike helmets and other safety accessories. Our veterans have faithfully served the United States, and now it is our privilege to serve them. For more information on the Veterans Bike Project of Lake County, call 847-782-4219. That's 847-782-4219.
We're back. WNDZ, 750 AM, Catholic Chicago, 312-255-8408. Or you can go to youtube.com/Catholic Chicago.
You know, Mark, I'm very impressed. Michael May is in the studio alone doing the work of 2 or 3 people by himself.
I think that chair has wheels on it.
Flawlessly. He's going back and forth, truly showing no expression, just doing his job. So, Michael May, we are quite impressed here in the studio with the work you are doing.
Yes, thank you very much. Now, we're speaking with Father Tom, Andre, Sandra about the Unified Parish St. Joseph Bakhita. Before we talk about the social justice ministry, I thought of something during the break. We had, this had to be pre-COVID because everybody was here in the studio, a group from the new St. Teresa Calcutta, Saint Mother Teresa, Calcutta Parish. They had just begun to unify. Then we had them on recently, through social media, and I asked them. Now it's 2 years later. What was the process you were involved in? And the one thing one of the women said, which really stuck with me, said, "Well, first we had to get over the anger." She said, and then we took smaller steps. And now, 2 years later, we're really starting to blend our celebrations, etc. First we had to get over the anger. I'm curious, any of the three of you, was that part of what you were dealing with? And how do you do that?
Who would like to begin that one?
Yeah, whoever would want to jump in.
Well, first of all, I think it's important to listen, to allow them to vent and to really get off their chest the anger that they may have. Many of the individuals from the closed parishes felt that the Archdiocese already made the decision, but needed to have the listening sessions and need to hear the voice of the people prior to making those difficult decisions. Either from the Renew My Church team with the consultation of our auxiliary bishop, Bishop Joseph Perry, and His Eminence Cardinal Supich, ultimately. But I feel that the individuals with the anger, some have just come back to the church. They have been moving around from various parishes in the area to see where they would best fit, but ultimately ended up residing here because with the majority of their own parishioners from their former parish coming to our parish, it was a much easier journeying with those in a similar situation and their own grievance or anger to help them process it through more readily, so that they feel that they do have a new home. It's not maybe the home in which they knew for many years, but it's a home in which other individuals, other church family members from their former parishes are also in a similar state of mind.
Now, Father Tom, a question, one priest to another. Here you are listening to others that are angry, grieving, and the feelings go on and on.
Mm.
What about you? Who did you go to? Because I'm sure you had your own feelings with this whole process, because we're not robots. We're human beings with our own feelings. And so you're doing all this listening day in and day out, this whole change, which is so difficult to see parishes close, merge, new beginnings. When you're dealing with all that anger, all that grief, and people just venting to you, positive and negative, how did you handle this personally as a priest, but also as a human being?
Well, first of all, a lot of prayer. Ultimately, it was listening to my other brother priests in the area who have gone through Renew My Church, and they also had anger. And the anger from the priests was predominantly if their parish was on the earmarked for closure is now reassignment. And reassignment in today's church of the Archdiocese, there is not many options, unfortunately. Even though, as we saw our ordination this year with, I think, one of the smallest or the smallest ordination class, it is sometimes where you're thinking now, how do I start for myself in a way in which will give me good footing into the mental, the spiritual, and the physical, because it takes a toll on all three. You're listening to these parishioners who still have the anger, and they're pointing the blame game, first on me, possibly me being also the dean of Vicariate 16 or EB, to where, you were involved. You were the one who could have said something or this or that to keep my parish alive. But ultimately, I really didn't have that power. But yet, understandably, it is a process in where you're dying to the old self and rising to a new life, just as similar as St. Francis of Assisi. And as we use the San Damiano cross as an example for this process of Renew My Church, death to new life. But yet you're out in the trenches with the people who are going through that. And you're not just sitting up in the office of the Archdiocese thinking, okay, this is what needs to be done. We're with the people who are journeying through this time of renewal, but also a time of the grieving process, and how do we rise above it? And so I have to be that for them in a way. I have to not necessarily hold their hand, but I have to lead by example how Jesus Christ said you have to move on with the mission of the church, whether it is comfortable or uncomfortable. And it's normally in the unfamiliar or the uncomfortable state that we are challenged by it in a healthy way, and hopefully that will end in a positive light in building the new reality.
That's a great, tremendous response, Tom. Excellent. Now I look at you, Andre, and Sandra, so deeply involved in the unification of the parishes. I can see the joy, the enthusiasm. So you've gone through the grieving process, the anger, and I've dealt with many people in the Archdiocese who are now excited about the unification of parishes and new beginnings and possibilities. And we have to sometimes leave room for the Spirit. Now, just switching gears a little bit, because we went down to about the last 5 minutes, tell us about the whole start of a social justice ministry at the parish and how that's affected you and the goals of it. So either Andre or Sandra.
Go ahead, Sandra.
For me, St. Philip Neri was very small. So when we got new people to come into the church, that everybody merged, it was like a new life was blown into it. And I had just graduated last May from a public policy degree. And when I heard social justice, I was like, oh, I'm there. I want to do this.
I'm part of it, yeah.
I believe in my community. I see so much potential here. We got together with Alfredi Weedham. She is a professor at Loyola University.
Oh, sure.
Larry Campbell, who is also I think he's the president or the vice president of Nonviolence Works.
Exactly. Was Philip also part of it?
What was that?
His name is Philip. I can't think of his last name. It's always Alfredi, Larry, and
Philip Bradley.
Philip, they said. What a tremendous threesome.
Yes. And there were other people that are very, very important in the group. And it was like, okay, so we're going to start this. Where do we start? And our first thing to do was, okay, where does the church stand when it comes to different social projects and different ideas? So we read, I think it's called 101 Questions about Social Justice. I have the book in my room. But we went through it, and it was very eye-opening, because a lot of the times we can be Catholic and we believe a lot of the propaganda that's being spewed on TV, but as a Catholic, we also need to know where the church stands, and we have to use the Bible and Jesus' teaching as a guide of where we need to stand as well.
Now, just in the last few minutes, Andre, how has this new social justice ministry touched your life?
Oh, I want to make sure we get out that on Saturday, one of the things we're having is a town hall meeting. We expect a great number of guests to come out, including politicians, representatives from the police, representatives from the city. So on Saturday from 12 to 2, we will be in the church with all of these people gathered. So it has touched and I want to say just very briefly.
Could you add the address where it is?
Certainly, absolutely. 2132 East 72nd Street, Chicago, Illinois. The actual building is the St. Philip Neri Church building, which is St. Josephine Bakhita Parish.
Beautiful.
We also are planning this summer a peace project, which will be a 4-week workshop for students between 7th and 12th grade that will be talking about concepts of peace that we want to bring to the community. And then our long-range plan is to have a peace center in the in the South Shore community. You can tell where I'm from. So the bottom line is that we know that worship transcends buildings, and that's what's very important. Worship transcends buildings, and we must, while we remember the past, we have to embrace the future and move forward to do greater things.
Briefly, Andre, what is the purpose of the town hall this Saturday from 12 until 2? What is the purpose of the session on Saturday afternoon?
The session on Saturday afternoon is to allow the citizens an opportunity to work with community leaders to look at how we are going to do things in the community that will promote peace. We are all appalled by the tremendous amount of gun violence that we've seen in the city, and especially in the South Shore area. We want to begin to address that, not just talk about it, do something about it.
Unfortunately, we've run out of time. I want to thank in a very special way Father Thomas Bellinger, Andre Rawls Weatherby, and Sandra Boteo. You've been a tremendous threesome in talking with us this morning, and just your smiles. Those are watching on YouTube.
There's a
joy. There's smiles. There's an upbeatness, and which is pretty good, Mark, for 8 o'clock in the morning.
It sure is.
I'm very, very impressed. So, but Father Tom Bellinger, you've done a great job the last 16 years as a priest. You are one of the finest we have, and so thank you for all you do, and to Andre and to Sandra, God bless all of you. You're listening to Catholic Chicago on WNDZ, 750 AM, 312-255-8408. You can also get us on youtube.com/Catholic Chicago. Father Greg Sackwitz along with Mark Teresi. Stay with us, and again, do not touch that dial. We'll be back after these messages.
Get ready for a fabulous day of golf for a great cause as Catholic Charities 2022 Golf Invitational tees off at the beautiful Olympia Fields Country Club on Monday, June 27th. Gather your friends, family members, and work colleagues for a day that is sure to be a highlight of your summer. Enjoyable contests and surprises are planned throughout the day to make this one extraordinary golf outing. Proceeds from this event will benefit Catholic Charities programs and services in Cook County. Fantastic sponsorships are still available for an invitational that is one of the most popular summer golf events in Chicago. Don't miss the 2022 Catholic Charities Golf Invitational on June 27th. For more information, go to CatholicCharities.net or call 847-226-5697. That's 847-226-5697.
I feel special. I feel great. I got good grades.
We've seen a huge surge in our kids now meeting or exceeding grade level. Come check us out. You may have never thought we were an option before.
Our school communities provide students with academic excellence and character education in a supportive and stable learning environment. Come see for yourself. Visit archchicago.org/findaschool.
At Catholic Charities, we want to remind you that we are here for anyone who is a victim of domestic violence or anyone who has a concern about someone they think may be a victim. Domestic violence affects millions of people each year, both women and men, of every race, religion, culture, and economic status. It includes physical, psychological, and emotional abuse, inflicted in both subtle and overt ways. The impact on children can be devastating. If you or someone you know are victims of domestic violence and you are looking for a place for healing and recovery, call us at 773-935-3434 in Cook County and 224-430-4977 in Lake County. A safer, happier tomorrow can begin today.
The cemetery ministry is a core ministry of our Catholic faith tied to the corporal works of mercy. It's comforting to know that our Catholic cemeteries are caring for the remains of our loved ones awaiting the resurrection. There are 44 Archdiocese of Chicago Catholic cemeteries willing to help you in your time of loss. Call 708-449-6100 or visit CatholicCemeteriesChicago.org. Catholic Cemeteries, serving the Catholic community since 1837.
You're listening to Catholic Chicago. Ahead, the Archdiocese of Chicago brings you programs about the people, events, and issues that touch our lives. Thanks for letting us be part of your morning. Now again, Catholic Chicago.
Welcome back to Catholic Chicago on WNDZ, 750 AM, 312-255-8408. You can also get us on youtube.com/Catholic Chicago. Father Greg Sakowitz, along with Mark Teresi. Mark, that was a wonderful first half hour with our guests from the new unification of St. Josephine, Bakhita.
Difficult situation, but they see the potential. There's a lot of hope in their voice.
There's hope, there's joyfulness. And it was like a shot in the arm for all of us that with the whole unification, Renew My Church, great things that are happening. The Spirit's moving. We have
and a good reminder. Your question to Father Tom about, how's he taking care of himself? That you guys aren't robots. I think sometimes people get the feeling, well, you're superhuman, so anything they throw at you, you can handle without any kind of loss of kind of energy. Or I'm sure there was a fatigue in his body, emotionally, spiritually, and physically as he went through this process.
There has to be, but he said it is all rooted in prayer.
Yeah,
a lot of prayer, and tremendous second half lined up here for the program. Summer is here. And that means it's time for the St. Agnes and Bohemia street masses. With us, guest is Father Don Nevins,
there he is.
A tremendous, outstanding priest in the Archdiocese of Chicago. And Father Don ordained, was it back, Don, in 1974?
5.
You're 75, ordained in 75, because as you were ordained in 75, and leaving Mundelein Seminary, I entered that August to begin the first year theologate as you were just newly ordained in 75.
So you're 47 years? Is that my math correct?
Your math is correct. Yes, here it is.
And you know, Mark, we
Wow.
both know that Father Don Nevins is one of the most outstanding, terrific priests in the Archdiocese for years.
In 3 more years, you're going to have your 50th, and Greg and I will probably be in wheelchairs coming to the Mass, and you'll be running up the aisle.
I don't think so, yeah.
Well, Don, I have to ask you this. The fact that you are, roughly 73 years old?
73, yep.
Because I'm 69, 4 years behind you. Now, would you be right now the oldest active pastor in the Archdiocese? Because retirement age is 70.
Let's start on a positive
note.
note.
I'll be very positive, yeah. Tell us about your list of
Actually, you know, Mike Flager is my classmate, and Mike is very active yet. And then there's still a couple of guys. Jim Kazarowski, I think, is still active.
He's over.
And Kaz is
Dennis
from
O'Neill, I
class.
think, is going to retire this year up at St. Martha's. There's a few older than me yet. Yeah.
Were the three
Not
of
the
us
oldest.
together at the college seminary?
Yes.
We were there all at the
Sure.
same time.
We were. Yes, we were.
Because,
Yeah.
Don, you arrived at Niles College Seminary in what year?
81.
I arrived in 85. And Mark?
Right around when you
85
came.
or 86.
Yeah.
So I think we overlapped because then you left, Don, I think in 1989.
I think it was 89, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you
I
went
was
to
there
what-
8 years, so that'd be about right.
You went to what assignment then in 89?
Procopius.
I went to St. Procopius.
Yeah, I
right.
remember that.
That's right, because you left in 89, and a few months later, Father Bob McLaughlin left for Holy Name Cathedral. I think you left in October or November. He left in January.
I left at the end of the school year, so I left
okay.
July 1st.
Okay.
And he left like January 1st or something. Yeah.
Exactly. So and you've been presently pastor of St. Agnes, Bohemia for how many years now?
14.
14.
Wow.
Now, I'm assuming your softball days are over.
My softball days are, yes, long over.
Are you running at all?
Are you still running?
Yeah, I still do some of that.
That's great.
More walking than running, unfortunately. But
Yeah, and I'm more like you walking. But I remember we were together in the faculty. You were a big runner. You used to be a very active, but you weren't jogging, you were running.
Yeah.
And there's a difference
Yeah.
there. So, well, tell us, first of all, what is the history of these street masses at St. Agnes Bohemia? This will be year number what?
I don't even know. They started before I got here. So
Oh, really?
I would say we're probably at least 20 years.
Well, I thought this was something
going on.
you started when you arrived.
No. They didn't start when I arrived. They were already going when I got here. So so it's been I think probably Matt Foley started them, but I'm not absolutely sure. And the idea is, you know, we hear the Holy Father so often talking about how we need to kind of open the doors of the church and be going out to where the people are, and his famous line about the priest should smell like the sheep. I think one of the things that it really is kind of an evangelization effort. And I think last year we did the street masses, but we really had to be a little careful about how many people could come and how people were seated, you know, still giving some space and things like that.
Due to COVID.
This year it's a little easier. And so you see here, this is from last year. Father Jim Castigar was my associate last year. You can see some of the numbers of people that are there. And one of the things we do at the end of every Mass, which you saw him doing there in the very beginning, is we ask all the children to come up and bless all the children, because summer can be a kind of a dangerous time for children. And we want to do our best to make sure that they are well protected, and that they can enjoy the summer, but that they're also safe. That's one of the things we try to do. And so you can see here in the picture, you see the people will bring their chairs and kind of be around. Others are kind of standing on the sides. This year, we're probably getting, maybe 100, 125 people every Tuesday and Thursday evening. And it's different people every night. So we move the masses around to different parts of the parish. We are very much a kind of a territory. And so We have our Guadalupanos work on setting up the masses in 10 different parts of the parish. And then what we did last year was we decided to extend the masses from all of June and all of July, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Wow.
And the idea was to allow some of the places, some of the people who would like to organize a mass to do that and pick some of the dates that we didn't have filled at the end of July. And that was very successful. Some people would say, you never come to our block. You never come to where we are. Or we had a tragedy here last year. We had a fire here. We had a shooting here. And want to kind of not just memorialize, but really pray for the families, pray for the people of that particular neighborhood or that particular block. So, and one of the things we do before COVID, we would go out and have a fairly large group of people go out and knock on doors, give people a flyer, invite them to the Mass the next day, but also kind of check and see, if you got someone who's sick in the house who would like to have a priest come to visit, go to confession. Do you have a baby that you'd like to get baptized? Here's some information. Here's some information about the school. Here's RCIA information. Just try to give people some information about the parish. So we do that on the Mondays and Wednesdays, the night before the Mass, and then do the Masses on Tuesdays and Thursdays. With COVID, obviously, we couldn't go into homes, and even now we're still a little bit hesitant. So what we do is we go and we have a little bit of a flyer with some basic information on it and an invitation to come to the Mass the next evening, and it's been successful. It's been something that as I said, we've done it here for a long time, and people really look forward to it.
So the thing is, Don,
we start the Masses at 7 o'clock,
okay,
so
7
it's
o'clock.
Usually we've gotten past some of the heat of the day anyway. I appreciate it when they put the altar in a place that's kind of shaded. It makes it a little easier. Especially when you don't have too much on the head, it's you got to keep the sun off sometimes. So Mark knows that.
Did you have Mass 2 days?
I get it.
Don, did you have Mass? Did you have Mass 2 days ago when it was like 90 plus degrees at 7 o'clock in the evening, just this past Tuesday? Did you have the Mass?
Yes, we did.
Were you the presider?
And actually, it wasn't too bad. It was hot, but if we got a lot of trees, and so that shade really helps. Nobody complained about the heat, while we were there. So it was okay. It was good.
Now, when we come back, we're going to take a little break. When we come back, Don, I'm fascinated with the structure of it. I mean, how do you organize something like this? And I bet some parishioners who are listening that might be thinking about it, would be helpful for them to hear that. So when we come back, let's talk about that. WNDZ 750 AM, Catholic Chicago, 312-255-8408, or you go to youtube.com/Catholic Chicago. We're talking to Father Don Evans, pastor of St. Agnes of Bohemia. We'll be back in a few minutes. Please stay tuned. Father Greg's going to run around the block, and he'll be back.
Walk around the block.
Catholic Charities has had the privilege of helping people in need in Cook and Lake County for more than 100 years. We would like to take this opportunity to thank our frontline workers who, despite the unprecedented challenges of the past 2 years, continue to excel at their jobs every day. From the warehouse staff members who pack boxes of nutritious foods for low-income seniors, to the dedicated WIC employees who have remained open for families with children under the age of 5, to our volunteers and restaurant partners who ensure that meals are available for those experiencing hunger, to our service coordinators and our professional counselors who continue their vital work in innovative ways, to our food pantry staff, and to all those who work at Catholic Charities Call Center, finding solutions for every person who reaches out to us for help. Charity is at the heart of all you do, and we salute you.
People always say, how can you spend your day with 3-year-olds? Seeing the changes that they go through and just the journey and how they grow, this is a very rewarding job. Even though at the end of the day, we're not the highest paid people on earth. And when I have a parent contact me and say, my child loves school, that to me, I'm setting that foundation for their love of learning. Because really, you are changing lives, you are molding lives.
Shape the next generation of leaders. Teach. Apply today at archchicago.org/schooljobs.
Get ready for a fabulous day of golf for a great cause as Catholic Charities 2022 Golf Invitational tees off at the beautiful Olympia Fields Country Club on Monday, June 27th. Gather your friends, family members, and work colleagues for a day that is sure to be a highlight of your summer. Enjoyable contests and surprises are planned throughout the day to make this one extraordinary golf outing. Proceeds from this event will benefit Catholic Charities programs and services in Cook County. Fantastic sponsorships are still available for an invitational that is one of the most popular summer golf events in Chicago. Don't miss the 2022 Catholic Charities Golf Invitational on June 27th. For more information, go to CatholicCharities.net or call 847-226-5697. That's 847-226-5697.
We're back. WNDZ 750 AM, Catholic Chicago, 312-255-8408. You can go to youtube.com/Catholic Chicago. We're having a visit with Father Don Nevins, who's the pastor of St. Agnes of Bohemia. I was talking to Greg during the break. One of my fondest memories is your mom and John Klein's parents and some other parents of priests working with us at the college seminary. We just had a blast with them. They were hard workers, but they loved the lunch.
Mm-hmm. They did, and they loved to just get out of the house and be working over at the seminary. It was they had a lot of fun. They enjoyed it.
Is your mom still with us?
My mom is still with us.
God love her. How old?
98 years old.
Oh.
She's in a rehab place right now because she fell and cracked her pelvis and a bone in her back, and so she's going to have some rehab for the next couple of weeks. But she's been doing well.
Give her our regards, please.
Definitely,
I will do.
Was your mom living alone at home before the fall?
She was alone, but really my sister was pretty much with her all the time.
In Des Plaines?
So, pardon?
In Des Plaines?
In Mount Prospect. Mount Prospect. Yeah.
I remember your mother, 98 years old. God bless Mom.
We had some great times.
Wow, that's tremendous. I'm here as 73 years old as a priest, and to still have your mom with you.
What a gift.
What a gift. What a profound gift.
It is. It is.
I
Yes.
almost forgot I'm supposed to ask a question.
Oh, yeah. I forgot we were on the air.
Well, the question is, how do you organize something like that? I mean, it sounds like it takes a lot of soldiers to get this done. And one other question tagged to that, is there in the Hispanic community and is there hospitality afterwards? How does that work?
Okay. So, yeah, both of those things. So this really goes back, some of this goes back to really Bishop Mann's time here. And it was not necessarily the street masses yet, but the kind of organization. Because what he did, in Hispanic parishes, you always have a novena for Our Lady of Guadalupe.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to do something a little different. He wanted to do something, instead of having people come to church in the evening for a mass and a talk and the rosary, he wanted people to do it in homes. And so what he and the people with him at that point did was they kind of broke down the parish into 10 what they called sectors. And each sector had a coordinator. And what the coordinator would do was they go out and talk to the people in their particular sector and get people who are willing to host people in their homes one night during the Guadalupe Novena, which is in December. And so what they would do was they would have somebody who would come to lead the rosary or reflection, and then they'd usually have coffee, cake, something afterwards, a kind of a refreshment. It'd probably be about an hour, maybe a little over an hour. And then every night move from one home to another in that sector. So that was kind of the beginning of the organization. And then when we went to the street masses, we decided to use the same structure and then have a mass in each of the sectors every summer. Mm-hmm. So again, the coordinators would work and kind of pick a block that they wanted to use in their sector that year, trying to alternate as best we can so that everybody gets a chance every once in a while anyway. And then to find on that block what we call a host family. Now, the host family is what they do is they basically let us plug extension cords into their outlets in their home, so that we have power for the speakers, the microphones, and that's pretty much it. There's not much of anything else that they have that we need power for, but that then gives the opportunity to those people to be recognized, and they help us. We have some of the Guadalupanos will, whoever the priest is for that mass, will prepare the kind of box that we have for all the stuff that we need for mass. One of the Guadalupanos will pick that up. One of the things they did a few years ago is they made an altar, kind of a table that they made with removable legs, so that we can they can set up the altar and then take it down, and they bring it back to the parish then after mass is over, leave it there until the next time that we're the next mass celebration. Beautiful. So the organization kind of flows in two different ways. So one is the organization in December, which then kind of goes over into the organization for the mass and the street masses. And then usually there will be some sort of refreshment afterwards. Mm-hmm. It might be as simple as water or some of the aguas that are very popular in the Mexican community. It might be aguas of watermelon, or it might be raspberry, or something that they will make, distribute to everybody. Sometimes there'll be maybe chips or cookies. Sometimes it gets a little more elaborate. I mean, they'll make tacos or have tostadas or something like that, nice, that people can eat while they're there. And the idea is for people to be able to socialize a little bit, both before and afterwards also.
Now, along those lines, Don, who are the presiders? I mean, you're not doing every mass, of course.
No. So my associate and I alternate. And so usually one of us will take Tuesdays, the other one take Thursdays. Sometimes we move it around. Depends. His day off is Tuesdays, so I normally take the Tuesday masses. He takes the Thursday masses, and just so we just rotate that way.
Do you see?
We cover everything.
Sorry. Do you see those masses bringing folks back to church?
I think one of the things right now is that this is for a lot of people a kind of a safe way to come back to church right now, and hopefully what they're going to do is realize it's okay to come back to church on Sundays also. it's been kind of slow getting people to come back to church.
That's all over.
It is all over. And one of the things that we were kind of focusing on was to just really encourage people to come back to church. One of the things that the Guadalupanos do is some of them will get there, like around 6 o'clock or so, and Mass is at 7, and they'll pray the rosary beforehand. So a number of people will come just because they want to come there for the rosary. And then we begin Mass immediately afterwards. And like I said, it is kind of easy. As you see some of these pictures, you see people kind of sitting on their steps out in front of their homes, other people bringing chairs out, other people, looking for what else might be going on, kind of standing by the fences or on the sidewalks and under the trees in the shade. So it's been a real good thing.
Don, on a practical level, what do you do if all of a sudden there's a heavy rain predicted, big thunderstorm? Is the Mass canceled for that particular day?
What we will do is, sometimes we have had to postpone the Mass. And usually then what we'll do is we'll try to, the next open date that we have at the end, we'll schedule for that block again so that we try to get the Mass in. And if we have to go into August, we do it so that we can try to get everybody in. Now, we've been, knock on wood, we've been very fortunate that we've not had any cancellations this year yet. So tonight will be the 6th Mass, and we've not had any cancellations. Last year, I don't think we had any last year either. We had a couple of times when it rained right around 8 o'clock. We were just finishing,
What if any of our listeners would want to come to one of the Masses? Where would they, first of all, can they? And secondly, where would they get the schedule?
Most certainly. They're more than welcome. They can go to the parish website if they want to. Everything is on there. St. Agnes of Bohemia. I forget what the rest of the website is, but it's probably Arch Chicago, I guess. Or they can just call the rectory.
What's that number?
So it's 773-522-0142.
One more time, Don.
And the secretary can tell you where the next Masses are. We need to bring
it to a close. We've got another 15 seconds. We want to thank in a very special way Father Don Nevins, the pastor of St. Agnes of Bohemia, dealing with the street Masses, which has been a great success for the last at least 20 years. So, Don, God bless you. Keep up the great ministry. You're a gift to the Archdiocese. Sure. Special thanks also to Mark Teresi, to our co-host, and to Michael May, a force of one today. Great job, Michael. To our listeners, God bless all of you. Stay cool. Have a great weekend.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Don.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Good to see you guys.
You too.
Join us every Monday through Friday at this time for Catholic Chicago. You can stream our programs live or listen to past programs by visiting our website, archchicago.org, and clicking on Radio TV. And please connect with Catholic Chicago on social media.